Hello Exile. Yes, it's me, it's Tweak, and I thought I'd just quickly put together this video to highlight some of the upcoming changes to PoE 2. This was following in the wake of the interview between Zizaran, Mark, and Jonathan. A lot was unpacked there, so if you do want to go check it out, I will leave a link to the video in the description for you. Also, just before we dive into the whole thing, this is my first time doing this kind of content. I've never really shown my face on camera before, so if you do like this kind of content, let me know in the comments below. Anyway, onto the video. We will be going through this in fairly rapid fire fashion. I'm sure you have all seen this already, so we're not going to take up too much of your time. Today, we are continuing to work on changes based on player feedback, and this is the list of changes that we have finished internally. So over the next few days, they'll be deploying changes, and obviously as players continue to report bugs and continue to report everything back to them, stuff that needs to be fixed, buffed, nerfed, or whatever, it'll keep growing. It is early access after all. We can't expect everything to be perfect. Now, following the enormous nerf fest that was the Dawn of the Hunt update, it was huge, it was massive, it was ugly. A lot of the things that we played and loved no longer worked, and frankly, it's just turned the campaign into this one enormous slog. But they're going to make some changes now to some of the skills that needed a bit of loving. Sorceress specific changes. Arc now does a lightning explosion when it hits a shocked enemy, but can no longer shock. Okay. It does not consume the shock. Fascinating. I always liked Arc in PoE 1. Haven't seen many people play it now in PoE 2, but I could be wrong. Eye of Winter now gains bonus elemental damage when passing through other elemental orbs like Solar Orb, Orb of Storms, or Frost's Bomb. That's quite nice. I like that actually. Incinerate's exposure duration has been increased, to 8 seconds from 2 seconds. Mana Tempest can now be used with all spells and has been changed to cause empowered spells to split to additional targets instead of chaining or forking. That's interesting. They have really hurt any form of mana stacking, and I think, as far as I know, they've also changed Eldritch Battery to double the mana cost, so yeah, I wonder how this is actually going to play out, but it might actually be better than we think. Frostbolt's explosion radius has been increased by 50%. That's pretty big. Ice Nova's freeze buildup has been increased significantly. Frostbomb's exposure duration has been increased to 8 seconds from 5 seconds. Okay, Mana Remnants have been changed, and we're lowering the delay for ignites to spread from other sources from Wildfire. Okay, cool. I'm a big fan of damage over time build, so I think I actually would like to try something with Ignite, actually. I think that'd be pretty good. Bleed and Chaos Inoculation. Okay, this is something that needs a bit of love. With the removal of Grim Feast, we gotta find other ways of surviving this dangerous slog that is Dawn of the Hunt. Energy Shield no longer prevents bleeding from being applied. Fascinating. I wondered why I wasn't getting bled, basically. But Chaos Inoculation now prevents bleeding, which is huge, and the passive clusters that grant you additional stun threshold based on your maximum energy shield now also increase your ailment threshold. So you will no longer be ignited, chilled, or frozen, shocked, as well as using CI to take his passives. Fascinating. Okay, Huntress specific changes. I'm going to be straight up and honest with you guys, and I know like a lot of you did, I started this league with the Huntress, and I very quickly swapped to a Lich. I'm personally not a fan of the whole combo mechanic playstyle. Maybe I haven't exactly given it the sort of love and attention that it needs. I'm rather opting to let it cook a little bit, as in the whole Huntress specific playstyle. Let it cook properly, and then I'll hop in and play it. I might be wrong, but once my Lich has now reached the end game and started generating currency, I might actually start doing a bleed build. But anyway, Huntress specific changes. Parried enemies can no longer evade your attacks, which is pretty good. I found the parry mechanic a bit clunky, which obviously discouraged me to use it. The spear stuck in enemies by rapid assault now always bleeds on hit when you detonate it. The AoE has been increased by 20%, and the detonate does 67% more damage. Okay, that's pretty big, giving a bit of love there to Huntress. Spearfield's spear duration has been increased to 10 seconds from 6, and its damage growth increased, dealing 30% more damage by level 20. And Herald of Blood no longer deletes the corpses of rares or uniques, allowing you to use Ritual Sacrifice on the rares. Okay. I haven't seen many people using Ritualist. I might be wrong. It's been a while since I've taken a look at PoE Ninja and checked the split of ascendancies. I know a lot of people are running Amazon right now, but that is still pretty big. Warrior specific changes. Okay, I have seen over the YouTubes and over Twitch about people playing the Smith of Kitava ascendancy and how long it took to temper your weapons. Again, speaking from someone who's never really a warrior player in PoE 2, I might give this a shot just because it looks like warrior is actually in a pretty good place. But the temper weapon on Smith of Kitava now adds 3 empowerments per strike of your weapon and is 25% faster. I'm sure all Smith of Kitava players are going to be smiling. The damage might need to come down a little. Okay, so that one might be sort of adjusted, but it is going to be much quicker. Shield wall is now detonatable with war cries. That's interesting. And armor break being applied to players by monsters no longer has the 20% extra physical damage modifier that it was intended to only be a buff to players. And we have also reduced its duration to 4 seconds from 12. In addition, there was a bug where partial armor breaks were never removed on the player. Fascinating. Fascinating change. Okay, I want to see how that works out. Ranger specific changes. Stormcaller arrow now proliferates shock to nearby enemies in a small radius and had its AoE radius increased by 50%. Lightning rod damage now has been increased by 30% and their duration has been increased to 20 seconds. Lightning arrow has had the radius of which it arcs to targets increased by 50%. That's nice, actually. Tornado shots maximum duration has been increased to 15 seconds. We got a new support gem, Inhibitor, that prevents charges from being consumed but increases the damage of the supported skill by 4% of each type of charge that you have. They did say here that they found since the implementation for the increased damage per type of charge is not really feasible in the time frame. So they're probably going to work on this a little bit before we see this, but it's looking really good. Thank you, GGG. Delirium encounters now last approximately 2.5 times longer. Delirium was so short. It's so short in Dawn of the Hunt. You basically just pop the mirror and the whole thing has disappeared. So I like this. I enjoy Delirium content. So frankly, this is a really good change. We've added several Artificier's orbs to fixed locations throughout the campaign, allowing you to craft with them more often. This is great. So I'm sure that a lot of people will share the same notion, but I found nothing in terms of orbs in the campaign. Nothing. I decided that for my character, I actually wanted to build it as much as I possibly could in softcore without buying anything. And I did. Throughout the campaign, I built it. I'm playing an ED Contagion at the moment, ED Contagion Lich. And I pretty much built all the stuff from scratch. But haven't found a single Artificier's orb. And I'm in maps. Go figure. I haven't got a single socket on any of my gear. But at least adding an Artificier's orbs to fixed locations helps people, especially newer players, to at least be able to find them. And I know that you can salvage and all that stuff, and I haven't really done that, but anyway. We've also added runes for attributes allowing you to fix early game requirement issues. Nice. And also updating all runes to also apply to wands and staves. Thank you. This work will require adding specific mods for these items. We are unsure if soul cores and talismans will be added at the same time. It's our intention to attempt to make this change. This is nice. Because I've always wondered why like wands and stuff like that couldn't have any runes. Why have a rune? This is a really good change. Wands need some love, but they do need modifiers, obviously, that will benefit wands. Finding rares in endgame. During endgame, a common issue is missing a rare in the corner of the map. Who has not experienced that in PoE 2? In order to mitigate this, we have changed rares to show up on the minimap at all times. Thank you. That is humongous. Matlin Waterways. We made a change to Matlin Waterways to merge some of the sections of water together, reducing the average number of levers that you'll encounter while playing it by 6 levers. That's bigger than you think. That is bigger than you think. Because I'm sure you can agree, Matlin Waterways is humongous and it just never seems to end. You know, when you get to like that little section at the end where it's just dry and you know, okay, I'm finally here at the finish line. It's big, but this is really cool. I know there were some other posts where they're shortening some of the areas and I already did see that in the campaign, which is a really big thing. Monster speed. This is probably one of the biggest issues. And I know that this was spoken about at deep length in that dev interview. was the issue of monster speed. Because of players being inherently slowed down, naturally you would think that in response to that pace, monsters would be slowed down too, but obviously we're being bum rushed by monsters at every given opportunity, and they absolutely wreck your shit. So one of the issues that's often reported by players is getting swarmed by monsters. We are currently doing a pass to investigate this issue and can probably talk about specific changes tomorrow, but the changes are likely to be targeted at specific monsters that are too difficult, especially in zones that have a lot of fast monsters. I think that's things like the Faradin monsters. Those are really quick. The Faradin Blade Dancers or whatever. I'm curious to see which ones are changed, but I guess we'll have to see that tomorrow. And the Ritual exploit. So for those of you who don't know, there was a little exploit involving Ritual where basically people could just keep on unlimited re-rolling their rituals. Now, this is to be expected. It is early access. Bugs aren't always perfect, and you know, people will sometimes find stuff to exploit. This happened with the Temporalis exploit in the last patch, which absolutely wrecked the economy. So if you see here, they banned 301 accounts that were clearly exploiting this, and they'll remain banned at the end of the league, which is a lot. Also, it looks like they're trying to roll back the loot so that it doesn't affect the economy too much. Some of it might get through, but the point is, I'm happy to see that they actually just tackled this quickly instead of just left this to continue. That's basically it. That's basically all the patch notes. I hope that you guys enjoyed that. It's just a little bit of a rundown, some of my thoughts on it. If you liked the video, I really would encourage you to drop a like and subscribe. It's really going to help the channel. And yeah, if you do like this content, please let me know. So then maybe I can do more of these in the future. But for now, I'll catch you guys on stream and I'll be cooking up some videos for you guys. So stay sane, Exile.